Let me just thank Corey for setting this up through the North Carolina Retail Merchants Association and give you an opportunity to take a look at the tools that we have been building that are used by the North Carolina Emergency Management Agency to help them get a better idea of what it is that is happening out in the business world, what business needs, and how to get businesses back in business faster. And that's our whole purpose. So let me bring you along here and let's talk a little bit how SABER can help the NCRMA and you. So let's start out. There's a hurricane coming. It's the hottest thing in North Carolina unless it's snowing out in the west. And then that's the hottest thing, or unless it's cold in the center. But we all know there are many, many types of emergencies. We happen to be coming up on hurricane season, so I'll make reference to that. We're actually, SABER is right in the middle of participating in the national level exercise, which is a hurricane that comes along the east coast of the United States, then goes up, right up through the national capital region. I know Persia at the Emergency Management Agency is playing a little bit, but it's really north of you, where it really strikes. But what do you want to do most during any kind of an emergency? Stay open longer and reopen faster. It's that simple. Well, SABER was founded by big companies, Walgreens, Walmart, Target, Macy's, Costco, Lowe's, Sears, you see them there, to do exactly that, to help them stay open longer and reopen faster by coordinating better with federal, state, and local government. And the reporting of every store helps those government agencies do things for companies, because government is increasingly seeing that retailers are the engine for local recovery. If you're not reopening, the community is not recovering. So SABER's mission from the very beginning has been to use this information, our accurate and timely business status information, to influence government recovery priorities, but also to help improve business-to-business collaboration so that you can help each other open faster. So we're going to take a look at how we do that today. What we want to do is first just show you this blurry chart of the current members of SABER. I mentioned the founders. We've got lots of them, from food stores to drugstores and appliance manufacturers and clothing manufacturers, and the list is growing all the time. And on the right-hand side, a partial list of all the places, ones that you're most interested in: North Carolina Emergency Management Agency, South Carolina Emergency Management Agency, Region 4 of FEMA, and National FEMA. That's how you get your message up to those who can potentially provide help. So what's our problem here? Well, the problem, in addition to the fact that a large percentage of businesses fail after a disaster, and they fail more frequently the longer they are closed, the way to avoid that problem is to be able to communicate, to get community retailers' needs out to government that needs help, as well as, I said, to other community retailers, so maybe you can help each other get back in shape. The way that takes place now: phones and emails. You have the blessing in North Carolina of Persia and her team that have put together the WebEOC page that you can go in and make requests on. That all is part of a process of eventually getting your message into government. But that's tough, because government is faced with having to talk to a lot of companies, and companies are faced with having to talk to a lot of governments. And sitting in the middle of that is an opportunity. And the opportunity for the data, and don't think of this as taking away anything that Persia is doing in her BEOC, because she is the voice that can represent all of the community retailers. What this is doing is helping provide the data that shows all those different government agencies all at once No phone calls, no sitting in meetings, none of that. The ability to say, this is what's happening out in the community. Huge benefit for improving what Persia does, because she uses this data in addition to when you get onto WebEOC and type in a few words in a message someplace, she can know in advance that you have a number of stores open or closed. So SABER supporting that BEOC effort, and it does that in 3 different ways. And we're going to take a quick look at them, and then I will certainly have time to give you a look at what really is happening. First way is an automated connection. An automated connection into some type of a business outage system or a security system that says these stores are not opening right now. That information go directly into SABER, and when it does, it goes out the other side in national standard formats so that government agencies, their incident management system, their WebEOCs, even a free copy of Google Earth can see that information. I want to use this as an opportunity now to just very quickly go through and show you where that information goes in some examples, and we'll blow through this very quickly. First of all, it goes right into FEMA. This is from Hurricane Irma last year. The FEMA GeoPortal does it, processes it, pulls up information, so this becomes available to FEMA and other organizations. Georgia Emergency Management Agency has built a very nice tool out of their ArcGIS that is available for North Carolina to get to show all the businesses up. South Carolina similarly has something called Palmetto Vision instead of WebEOC. It's called CloudEOC, and they pull in the SABER data. Florida's Common Operating Picture adds in all that open and closed business. Here's North Carolina's use of WebEOC, an example of information going in there, and the ArcGIS online that's also used to display things. And then my favorite, the free copy of Google Earth. If you want to see SABER data, all you have to do is download a free copy of Google Earth, and in under 2 minutes, we can have you displaying SABER information on that so you can see what your colleagues are doing. There's a second way, though. The second way is if you have a number of stores, you can maintain them in a spreadsheet. You might already be doing this. An awful lot of companies are, from huge companies like Target and Sears and others to regional companies. And all those things can be either a phone call from individual stores into your organization, and somebody maintains that spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet then gets pushed up into SABER. Gets done. Does that through a website. We build the template to match your spreadsheet so you don't have to change anything. And I'll show you how we can just very quickly go up and opening and closing stores or providing other information to be able to get that information directly into SABER. And when it does, it goes out to all those government agencies. So you don't have to worry about doing that again, unless you got some specific needs that you want to express into the BEOC in North Carolina. And then there's a third way that we call pocket preparedness. It's a commercial app that feeds into SABER and does exactly the same thing, drives that information out to all the different agencies. And what that does is provide some significant added benefits to the NCRMA or BEOC members, because it's always providing status monitoring. You get all the hurricane awareness information, you get flood warnings, you get all sorts of other day-to-day kinds of information, including traffic and things like that. Provides pager-like alerts that have you push information out to either your store managers or employees to say, hey, we need to know what you're doing right now. And then that information goes back into your headquarters and or NCRMA and or the North Carolina Emergency Management Agency, all depending on what you decide you subscribe to. And that then allows a selected amount of that information, what you want to give, to get out to SABER and move out to all the other sources that are available. Let's do a very quick example of moving the information into using that spreadsheet, just so you see how easy it is. And what I have here is these are targets in the state of Maryland. So I'm the I'm the manager in Maryland for Target stores. Got a couple that I've noted are closed here. I'm going to come down here and we've got, let's close 3 more, and let's close this one and close 1 more down here. I don't know where these are, but we'll take a look at them in a minute. So all these are closed. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to come over here to the member login. And my member login, I'm part of the Maryland BEOC, and I'm going to click on this. And what it's going to do is come up here and say, okay, go off and find that file. And I'm guessing you've probably done this with other applications. Here's the file. Here's my Maryland BEOC. I'm going to click on that. It tells me I've got that file, and I'm going to say upload. And that's going to go off, and it'll take, depending on how many stores, it'll take a few seconds to a few minutes. But it's going to provide that information, push that information up into our information exchange tool at SABER. And then eventually it gets out to all the other, oh, there we go, 13 closed stores were already created in Maryland. So that's the way, it's that simple to start driving that information in. And if I go over here to that free copy of Google Earth, let me just pull that up, and we'll go in and take a look. It's coming over here. It's pulling up this SABER information. Move on in here. We're going to see those Maryland stores, and you see that quickly. Now, anybody who's subscribed to SABER can see that there's a Target. It's closed. It's out on Urbana Pike in Frederick, Maryland. Their status is closed. They haven't entered their current power status or deployed a generator or done any damage summaries or have described any restoration needs. I should have filled some of those things out to illustrate that. But that's the kind of information that you and the BEOC can define as something that you want to have and be able to provide that information that quickly. So if you're running, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 stores, this is probably a really good, clean way for you to collect that information and share it out. And as you see, going out to this application, it would also have, by this time, made itself over to the North Carolina Emergency Management Agency, or if you were part of the South Carolina group, be able to get into that Palmetto Vision, and they would be able to see that information as well. So just a quick illustration of how it works. What I have here is the combination of things. This is how it can look in your office in the commercial mobile app that is available. That this is Miller Mart in Virginia, one of our members, and you can see all the things associated with Miller Mart. And you can see that these are all little greenhouses, but here's a yellow one. And the greenhouses, as it says down here on this list, are all part of regular open ones. And here's one that has some sort of special condition, probably a late opening. And here's one that's closed. Showing you this for a couple of reasons. One, to illustrate the tool set that we're going to take a look at is available on a regular computer. But secondly, this is also available as part of a ability to put this into your own web page. As we're showing right now on the SABER page, we've got the SABER information up here. And what it does is, and we've got some, I mentioned that hurricane exercise. We've got a bunch of stores in Florida that are already closed as part of that hurricane exercise. Oh, and as long as we're here, here's a Walmart. That Walmart is closed. And that is part of the automated feed of information that we get from Walmart. So nobody sat down and put that in there. That's coming off of a completely automated system that pushes information to SABER. So if you've got that, we can make that connection as well. That was the first type that was there. So we got all the other stores here, and if I zoom in on any of these guys, I get to see the ones that we were just taking a look at. So my point here is that this page can get put into your website. So if you don't have an active page where your customers can come in and say, hey, I want to know some information about this particular place, you're able to see it. And if, in fact, I decide I want to go to this particular one, and I click on Details and Directions, I'm going to get the driving directions to your store, if this were the case. So here's how to get from where I am here in Maryland down to Richmond, and gives me that full listing of all the directions just like you would want to have. So it's a tool that is able to give information to your to the public if you want it. Second thing is, wanted to show you this mobile app, because the mobile app is providing the ability to quickly get information from a store into an organization. And one of the things that we can do is come in here, and I'm going to make an announcement. So this is you as a store manager or as a business executive. I'm going to make an announcement that says, need your status for Persia at NCBEOC. When I hit that, what it does is set off, and now it's just a siren to make it obvious to you. But every one of your other store managers is going to get that notification, and the notification works however they have theirs. If they have theirs set up on vibrate, it's going to vibrate. But I have it set up as a siren just so you can hear it. So now you've got every store manager that says, oh, gee, it's time for me to go into my spot-on response, which they do like this.
Every site manager quickly can update their site status from their mobile device. Just touch My Status and then Site Status, and you have a list of all the sites for which you are responsible. Touching any site name lets you designate that some special condition is restricting operations or report the site as closed. The status shows up in the yellow list and by changing color of icons on the map. Company executives see current status information about their stores or other sites to know how the whole company is doing.
See, this gray guy, this guy down here has turned from green to gray. That's because he's now closed. And if I roll down here, I'm going to find Miller Mart, the 7-Eleven, is also closed. At the same time, that's now going off to SABER. So if I were to go to the WebEOC in North Carolina, or if I go off to their ArcGIS online to be able to see that, or if I even come down here to Google Earth, somewhere around here, I've got that Miller Mart. That's the way in which that information moves, both from the standpoint of a spreadsheet that you did quickly first, as well as to be able to deliver that out using the mobile app. There's a third element of this, and that relates to people, to your employees, because this mobile app also is available for you to give to your employees so that they can report in on their own personal status, as well as to get information about the emergency. This has a few things, and what people are telling us is, if I'm running stores that are all in the same rough area and one of them doesn't have electricity, my employees report in and say, I'm available, but I don't have a place to go to work. And you're going to have employees at a store that is open who are not going to be able to show up. And you can balance your employees, thus get them working, keep your store functioning. Or if you've got a big parade happening, you can bring in, and obviously you have other ways of doing this, but if there's a parade, you're going to know where your employees are and be able to help them get into to support you and work. And the employees are also getting that hazard awareness. They're going to be able to get things like the hurricane impact, flooding zones, traffic conditions. So it becomes valuable each day for them to have to consult, to look at what's happening around them, and then is able to provide for them the kind of very quick status information. Employee status goes back into the store that says, okay, who's available to work, who's going to be able to come during this emergency. That information then goes out to the individual managers at the stores, and then also can get pushed on up to SABER. Again, defining the information you want to share out to the BEOC. So people also become part of the operation. And just to give you a real quick look at that, since we have a minute or so left, over here I have, let me come in here and zoom in a little bit. This is me. I see me with a little pointer here and the green. And then over here, this is another person who's out here in the field with a mobile app. And if I look at that, that's going to be Tom Kinsel. He's right out there. And if I click and come over here, I'm going to see that this is also Tom Kinsel. Tom Kinsel is currently not available. Well, that was something that was he set up, but he's going to change his mind because he got his car started. So he comes on to here, comes to my status, and says, I'm okay, I'm reporting to work. These words can be whatever you want them to be. But right now, I'm okay, I'm reporting to work. So Tom's now back here, and he's going to go drive off. Let's say he's over here at this Miller Mart is where he's working, and he now knows he's going to be driving back to that Miller Mart. Obviously, he knows where he's going, or maybe this is a new one he's just been assigned to. And if I come back over here, I look at Tom Kinsel, and Tom is now, I'm okay, reporting to work. So I have the current status and current location of my employees. When he gets over here, he's going to come in and say, hey, guess what, guys? I've made it. I'm going to check in to that location. He clicks to check in and says, okay, I'm part of the team. And Tom's now going to be able to, and we're all going to be able to see that Tom has now shown up, and this is where he has gone to that Miller Mart. And if I click on that and come in and look, I'm able to manage who's working by looking at this resource tab. I click on that, and there's Tom Kinsel who's joined the team. So I'm now going to have a whole list of all the employees who say, yeah, I'm going to go to that store. Again, I'm sure you have many other ways to do that, but in an emergency using a mobile app, I can track Tom's location every 30 seconds while he's in the app. If you're not in the app, it doesn't track you, so don't worry about that part. But I can track to find out whether Tom's making his drive very easily and whether he's going to show up as part of that support group, as well as be able to, if I'm a manager, come in here and give you the last look here, come into my profile report. Here are all my employees for either a store or the whole store, wherever I want to be. If I come in here and I want to see who's active, there's Tom Kinsel. He reported in just a few minutes ago. He's okay, going to work. James Morenz is going to work. This guy I've got no report from, so I don't know what's going on with them. That's the information that is completely and readily available to you as a side benefit of being able to report out to Persia at the BEOC, to Corey at the Retail Managers Association, wherever you collectively decide you want this information to go, it becomes available as part of this set of tools. Corey, you want to say anything to conclude this discussion?
Hey, Jim, I really appreciate you putting this on for us today.